Week 44, October 29th through November 4th. I'm in the Pacific time zone, use tropical whole sign, whole house system with traditional rulerships. Mercury conjunct Mars in Scorpio, under the beams of the sun. There's certainly a lot going on right now, politically, globally. The eclipse, the lunar eclipse, just happened yesterday, so that's the end of the major part of the expression of that eclipse season. But of course, it reverberates for a while afterwards. And Mercury with Mars under the beams like that in Scorpio, it's just, it really is symbolic of the potency and power of the things that are happening. And when you get right down to it, war is an expression, a communication. It's unfortunate. Costs a lot of resources and pain and loss. But it comes down to a communication. And I think that's apparent in this transit. So we have on Tuesday, Venus trine Uranus. Uranus is in that fixed Earth, which we've talked about before as being something that is it doesn't necessarily like because it likes to change abruptly. And then, but Venus is in the mutable Earth, which offers that change, and that's exactly why it's a trine situation. So that's a positive thing to consider in the relational. That change can go from a fixed place to a malleable place. Saturn stations direct in Pisces on November 3rd. And I've heard a lot of people talking about the constructive benefit of Saturn in Pisces. And I think that's always a good thing to consider, how to use something well. It's not in detriment there. It's not in fall, but it seems to be a fairly oceanic place for it's like an island there. And so one thing we can't say is that it's all good. And I suppose we can't say that it's all bad. But the imagery that comes to mind, this island in that ocean, depends on how what the weather's like, I suppose, is what I'm getting at. The sun opposes Jupiter, also peaking on the 3rd. And I suppose when you expand, you have to make choices. It's true. Jupiter has been very bright lately. I took a nice picture of the moon and Jupiter next to each other. Not a lot of detail in the moon, obviously, but it's neat to have a phone that'll at least capture their proximity. And so Jupiter, it just shows, even when it opposes the sun, how positive of a beacon it can still be. So it seems that this is about, the identity, the idea of identification is about making choices sometimes, and oftentimes, right? To shine something, you have to not shine elsewhere, I suppose. So that's worth considering. And with these last two aspects towards the end of the week, Venus opposing Neptune and then Mercury opposing Uranus, kind of folding on top of each other, crashing on top of each other, whatever it is, it since this week's topic ended up being so large, I think that in this context, I would just say that we should be mindful of these oppositions, and that not it's not very clear, Neptune, um, and things are changing. Uranus, and it's the relational, and it's the communication, it's the thinking. Mercury again under the beams, so we don't know. So I'm going to leave it loose like that, and that we should be cautious this week and mindful as it plays out. There's a lot of things in motion and in flux, and again, the after the eclipse, this is feels like what they all say eclipse stuff is, right? So each of us being careful in our own lives and mindful, and maybe watching and listening a lot is probably the best we can do. So take care. See you next week.